this year to inspire Rotarians and to witness the magic that is RYLA.
Yeah.
So ask me some questions. So the fun fact, I think we need some music, right? And she's now like the dance instructor, right? So yeah, I want to do your dance. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. It's a real honor to get to witness the magic that is RYLA. So Todd told me just a few minutes ago, he made a correction. When I asked him for some instruction, he said, I am not the boss. So I've been corrected. My apologies to you, Morgan, that I asked Todd. He told me he is not in charge, you are in charge. So, but I was given instruction when I came here, and they said, I don't want you to give a canned speech, I just want you to be yourself and tell a little bit about yourself. So I'm going to share a story. But before I go into that story, I want to lead into it with a little bit of how I like to think about life. So who knows what a tapestry is? When I say that word, what does that mean to you? I saw your arm go first. Do you want to explain it? Yeah, it can be usually fabric, right, and patterns. Yeah, exactly, right. So tapestry, essentially, I like to think of it as, it's an image that is created by weaving threads together at the end of the day. And when I think about the choices we make in life, when we go along our life's journey and we're choosing who we want to be, what we want to do, what we want to represent, I like to use the metaphor of a tapestry. And the threads are pulled from bobbins, right? So a bobbin is a wooden object that a color of thread is spun around. And as we're weaving the design, we pull more or less threads from different bobbins to create an image. On the back side of the tapestry, it's kind of messy, right? There's lots of threads kind of going every which way. There's loose threads, there's knots. We can't see the image really clearly, but every once in a while, we get to turn the tapestry around and we get to see the beauty that we've created on the front. I think of Rotary in that manner a lot. All the things that we do a lot of work and we're helping others, and sometimes we get to turn the tapestry around and see what we've created, but other times we're weaving in faith, knowing that we're creating something beautiful, but we don't always get to see that. So that's a metaphor that I like to use. So on my life, I've mentioned, or I was introduced by Abigail, who said 11 years. So I'm like Victoria. I joined Rotary for my job. Boring, right? But it was what I thought was the right thing to do, right? And that's okay. A lot of people come to Rotary for business reasons. And I plugged along for a little bit, and I was just pulling a few threads from my bobbin that represented Rotary. But then I had a day that propelled me into action. And I'm going to share that story with you, because I know that you're going to be talking about issues to action tonight. And as I go around and talk to the Rotarians of our district this year, I'm asking them to really think about how we solve systemic issues, how we solve the root cause of an issue. So let me paint a picture of what that is. If you have a tree and the leaves are dying, we don't treat the leaves. We follow it down, the system of the tree, and we figure out what's going on in the roots, right? That's the root cause, and the leaf that's dying is a symptom of that. Sometimes we get stuck in taking care of those leaves, right? We're trying to treat those leaves instead of really getting down and figuring out how do we solve the root cause of this problem. So my story. I plugged along in Rotary for about 2 years. I was pretty much just showing up for lunch, right? Doing my thing. And then I took a tour of the a juvenile detention facility. So what is that? What is that? Let's make sure we're all on the same page, right? Yep. Right. And I was part of a program when we were doing these different tours, and I thought, I don't want to go to that. I wasn't too excited about it. And I had in my mind a stereotype of what I was going to see, okay? And I walked in there, and the kids were in uniforms, stripes, or orange, right? And we walked down the hall, and they weren't allowed to look at us, so they had to face the wall. And then we went in and we had lunch at the detention center, and it's, as you would imagine, the food, right? Then we go into the classroom. They're required to educate those kids. And I'm standing in the back of the room. The kids are sitting at their desks, hands on their desk, feet flat on the floor, one piece of paper, one pencil. The teacher says, you may turn around and look at our guests. And I'm in the back of the room, but I make contact with the boy that's in the front of the room. Not you, I'm just pointing at you. And he has this little buzz cut towhead hair, just this light blonde hair, this great big blue eyes, this round little face, and he's smiling at me. And then we continue on with our tour, and I keep thinking about this little boy, and I'm thinking, he must be 10 years old. 10 years old. And then we go and tour the cells. And it's this little room with this little cement bed and a little mattress pad, a steel door with a little window, one bed. And at that time, my daughter was about 10. And I thought about her in that room by herself, with nobody to tuck her in, say, I love you, it's going to be okay. And I got angry. And I said, something needs to happen here. How does this happen in our society? So I have a choice. I can be angry, or I can go do something about it. And I thought about this leaf and what the root cause was. And that propelled me into action. And I started going around to high schools and talking about meth. And I started mentoring a little girl. We met every week. Her mother had been in jail, incarcerated, and she had been adopted by other family. And we met every week for 7 years. And that was the day that I became a Rotarian. And tonight, you guys are going to have an opportunity, I understand, to do issues to action. And when you go through that process, I want you to think about, how do we help people? How do we really get to that root cause, okay? This year's theme is Be the Inspiration for Rotary. That was announced in January, and I instantly loved it because I said, that is a call to action. The world needs that inspiration right now. The world's a little bit chaotic. The world needs more do-gooders. The world needs more of this stuff that we see here tonight. The world needs more inspiration. So what I want to know is, if you guys, when you think you're going to leave RYLA on Sunday, are you prepared to go back and be that inspiration to somebody else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need to think about it for a second? Let me ask you again. Are you ready to be the inspiration?
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for having me here. I want to thank Morgan and the other junior leaders, and Todd, who doesn't work here, right? Not his job. And the rest of the Rotarians that are here. You guys are the bomb. Every Rotarian loves hearing about RYLA. We just love you, and we love what is happening here. Have a magical time, and we'll of course get to hear your stories on the other side. I'm excited to see you tonight. Thank you for having me here today.